How you doing? How you doing? My name is Antonio. Page Unapologetically Black 4209. Ask that you like and subscribe to the video. I also ask that you share it so we can get this message out. Let's understand that democracy is over in America. Europeans are ending democracy as they see their numbers shrinking. They are looking at South Africa, apartheid type governments. Mississippi is a perfect example. You look at Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, one of the poorest towns in the country, really. And you look at the water conditions, what Europeans are doing, they have turned Jackson, Mississippi into a shanty town.
The situation right now in Jackson, Mississippi is worsening as residents there enter a fourth day without clean water.
I mean, can you believe that? 4 days?
Stunning.
It's stunning. A boil water advisory is in effect for more than 150,000 people across the city. Lines, we're going to show you, can be seen forming around the block at the water distribution centers throughout the area. Just to let you know how this all happened, severe flooding damaged the city's water treatment facility over the weekend, causing the plant to fail. But this is not the first time Mississippi's capital has experienced a water crisis. Many residents say this is a problem that has been grossly ignored. So let's bring in Donna.
And they're attempting to rule it as a South African apartheid government. This white majority elected for the state has decided to create an all-white governed judge system over Jackson. They no longer want them to elect their DAs as you do in a democracy. Now that is gone. Now we want to appoint them because we want to maintain supremacy on you.
Now, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. As we go deeper into the southern United States, as we turn to Mississippi, where white Republican state lawmakers are attempting to essentially create an unelected superstructure to oversee the black majority capital city of Jackson. This week, the state's majority-white, Republican-led state Senate passed its version of a bill by the majority-white and passed last month by the majority-white and Republican-led House that would allow Mississippi's Supreme Court Chief Justice, who is white, to hand-pick local judges in Jackson. Prosecutors and public defenders will be selected by the state attorney general, who also is white. Jackson has the highest percentage of black residents of any major city in the United States. Supporters of House Bill 1020 claim it would make Jackson safer. Democratic Mississippi Senator...
It's a time for black people to wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up. These white people are united off hate for you. They are united off them being insecure about who you is and your capabilities as a people, and they're working together as a collective. Their power is your division. Their power is your lack of unity. Their power is you not identifying them as your opposing enemy. Their power is the fact that you sit up here and think that, oh, not all white people are bad, while ignoring the fact that all black people suffer from racism. So it doesn't matter if a white person is not racist. It does not matter. You, your children, and your descendants are victimized by this racist system. So it makes no sense that you don't want to build yourself up in a position of power through your people. We don't understand the importance of nation building. We are a nation. We must build as the collective nation. These white people are about to create a apartheid South Africa style government in the United States of America.
What happens when the dear leader and his party decide that if the legal system's going to be used against the dear leader, then the legal system's got to go? What happens when you take it further? When you take it beyond criticizing the legal system, you take it beyond criticizing those who are investigating you, and you instead decide the system's got to go. I mean, we know what this looks like in other countries. What does it look like here? Would anyone try that here in the United States, in our era, in our time? Well, here's tonight. Here's on the front page of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution right now as we speak. Quote, Republicans demand oversight of prosecutors amid Trump probe. Here's part of the lead from reporter Greg Bluestein at the AJC. Quote, the Georgia House tonight approved a measure to create a new state board that could punish or oust district attorneys. The latest step in an ongoing campaign by Republicans to exert oversight over prosecutors they see as skirting their duties. The measure passed the House 98-75 today over the objections of Democrats and prominent prosecutors, among them Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, who is leading an ongoing probe of Donald Trump. Republicans have rallied around the overhaul as a way to rein in, quote, rogue prosecutors. Powerful Republicans have put it on the fast track. The Georgia Senate has passed a similar version of this legislation, and the overall effort is backed by both Governor Brian Kemp and Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. I should mention Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones in Georgia is one of the people who's been notified by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office that he himself is a target for potential prosecution in the investigation into Trump's efforts to throw out the election results in Georgia and have election results in that state falsely declare him the winner. The lieutenant governor is facing potential charges himself in that investigation. He and at least one Republican state senator who's also facing potential charges in that investigation, turns out they are strong supporters of this new measure that would give Republicans in the legislature effectively the power to remove prosecutors that they don't like. Facing criminal charges? How about you vote yourself the power to fire the person who's going to charge you?
You have to ask yourself, how did these Europeans get in the office? How did these people who are so much against democracy, how did they get in office? So don't make it a small group of white people, because a collective of white people voted to place these people in office knowing that they was opposed to democracy. I need us to be clear, 66 million white people voted for Trump. 66 million white people overlooked Trump racism. 66 million white people overlooked the fact that he tried to cancel democracy, deny black people their right to vote in cities like Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Georgia. 66 million white people had no issue with you being denied democracy. 66 million white people have no issue with that. Let's be clear about this. Let's be clear, when King marched on Washington, he had a 76 disapproval rating with Europeans. We have to understand that. So only about a 22% approval rating with Europeans. Europeans have never been on the side of justice. They have never been on the side of righteousness. At some point, black Americans have to admit that these are unjust people collectively. You might have individuals, so fucking what? I don't care if you have individual so-called good white people. It doesn't matter, because they're not doing enough to humble and educate their massively ignorant collective. They're allowing the white racist jokes to go past without challenging them. They're allowing the ignorance about black people to be educated in schools. Let's be clear about all this. They understand, even if they're not racist, that they benefit from white privilege. And it's hard out here in this world, and they're not trying to give up their advantage. Let's be clear about that. In order for us to have an advantage as a people, we're going to have to take it. Not one Trump supporter can debate with me. Not one Trump supporter can debate with me about Trump policies and saying they was beneficial for America. Not one. And I'm not a Democrat either. I'm not a Democrat. Biden is a racist too. But the only reason why Trump gained support and is supported by Europeans is because he a bigot. None of his policies benefited America. When you talk about he did tariffs on China, that's inflation. Tariffs is a tax that we pay. The company that selling the product don't pay a tariff. The American people pay the tariffs. That created inflation. You look at he put tariffs on Canada. You look at what we get from Canada. We get aluminum and we get oil from Canada. So he weakened us to the position that we cannot, that we would be, that we would not be able to deal with the Russia and Ukraine war, because you have to understand how much 90% of Canada oil come through America for our refineries. After he did the tariffs, that switched up. Canada started shipping oil other places for them to refine it and selling it to them. Look it up. Look up the history. And you cannot do a trade deficit, a trade war with China unless you're gonna balance your budget. So the tax cut harmed him doing a trade war with China, because you have to understand China buys American bonds. Why do they buy American bonds? To keep American currency high. So we are their customer base. You want to take away the incentive you don't want to be their customer base anymore. You want to move manufacturing over here, then you take away the incentive to buy your bonds. So you have to have a balanced budget, because you can't request them or ask them to continue to buy this many debt bonds and they have no incentive. See, people don't even think this through. They just talk because they really motivated by racism. That's why they support Trump. They support Trump purely for racism. And not one of them would debate with me on the politics of it.